Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. So in this video we're going to talk about why most athletes stay broke and how investing can change that. So this is a topic that a lot of people don't talk about, so hopefully you learn something in this video, so stay tuned. Go ahead and get into the video guys. So your investments compound. So the question you need to ask yourself is, where do athletes get their money? Well, most of the time they get it from winnings, sponsorships, coaching, side businesses, content creation. So if you're an athlete, however you get your money, whether it's your salary, whether it's your business, whether it's from your winnings, whether it's from your sponsor, doesn't really matter. However you get your money, a portion of that money needs to go toward your investments. And so whenever you get paid, whenever you win, whenever you get anything that you get, that a portion of that money needs to go to your investments. Why? Because your investments compound. How does compounding work? So basically compounding interest, basically how that works is whenever you invest money, so let's say that you invest $10,000 or you invest $1,000, eventually that investment will compound. And so if you put in $1,000 and you made 10% on that money this year, well, you just made $100 on that $1,000. So now you have $1,100. So then now you're making 10% on that $1,100, and then so on and so forth. And so that is compound interest. You're now making money on your money. You didn't do anything, but because that money made money, you're now making more money, all because of compound interest. And that's what I'm talking about. A portion of your winnings, of whatever your salary is, however you get your money, that needs to be invested so that way it can compound. Next point, the biggest mistake most people make or most athletes make is many athletes focus on entirely just increasing their income. The real goal is earn money, keep your money, and then grow your money. So the way that you can do this is whenever you do earn your money, whenever you do win, whenever you do qualify, whenever you make your money, however you make it, earn it, that's great. But now we want to keep the money. Don't just send it right back out the window. Now, what you have to do is, instead of spending on something that you really don't need or trying to keep up with your expensive lifestyle, what you can do is reinvest that money. So you don't have to reinvest all the money, but again, have a strategy in place, whether it's 10%, 20%, 30%. Have a strategy in place to where that money now goes to your investments to where it can grow. That's how you compound. That's how you grow your money. That's how you become wealthy. Any athlete at any income level can become wealthy if they have the right strategy in place. And this is where you do it. Don't just focus on increasing your income, which is important. You do have to increase your income, but focus on keeping your money and growing your money. All right, so just to double down on the compound growth, I'm going to give you some numbers here so that way you guys understand at home exactly how important compound interest is and how you can grow your money over time. So just to cover a few points here, money that's spent is gone forever. Go ahead and let me say that again. Money that's spent is gone forever. Money that's invested can grow forever. So not only in your lifetime it grows, but it grows forever. And so every time you put money into more of your investments, every time you put money into something that grows, it can grow forever as long as that thing keeps on going up in value. So when something compounds, it makes money on top of money that you just earned on your money. Go ahead and let me say that again. When something compounds, it makes money on top of money you just earned on your money. Hopefully that makes sense to you. So, for example, a simple $1,000 investment with a 10% return, I'm just going to just base it on that, a 10% return each year compounded would be $2,593.74 over a 10-year time frame. Now, that's just 10 years. That's only $1,000. Okay, you did nothing else with that $1,000. So in 10 years, that would be $2,593. Now, 20 years, $6,727. 30 years, $17,449. 40 years, $45,259. Now, that is with compound interest, guys. For example, if you made 10% on $1,000, again, that would be what? $100. And so, as it compounds, you make money on top of that money. You didn't do anything else with that $1,000. All it did was sit there, but it made 10% every single year. So that's how you got to $45,000 in 40 years. Now, next one is $10,000. That's a lot more money. You did nothing else with this $10,000, but it compounded at 10% every single year. So what would the numbers be on that? Over 10 years, you made $25,937. Pretty good return. 20 years, $67,275. 30 years, $174,494. And 40 years, $452,593. Now that's a huge difference between $1,000 and $10,000. Now, I think that anybody can come up with that kind of money. You come up with that kind of money all the time going to your bad habits. There's constantly money going out the door. What if you got rid of those bad habits? What if you actually took that money and put it into a investment that made 10% every single year? Can you imagine how much money that you'd have in 20, 30, 40 years? So that way you could actually retire, that everybody always talks about. You know, they're always trying to prepare to retire. Well, how do you expect to do that? It's not going to be from your 401k. It's not going to be from your IRA. It's not going to be Social Security. Why? Because it doesn't keep up with inflation. You have to make at least 10% on your money every single year in order to keep up with inflation. And so there's many strategies to do that. But again, just think about what you're doing here. Anybody can become wealthy. It's all because of compounding interest. As long as your money is making money, then you're constantly making money on your money without having to do anything. Anybody can become wealthy, and it's all through compound interest. On to the next point here. Time is more important than the amount. Many people think I will start investing when I have more money. Often it's actually smarter to start earlier with small amounts invested frequently over time than to wait years for larger amounts to come. And what I mean by that is, used to, you had to buy a full share. Like back in the day, you had to buy a full share, and there was no options to do fractional investing. And so now what you can do, you can actually invest with as little as $1. You can go on Robinhood. You can invest as little as $1. Just start investing, guys. Listen, anybody can do this. You can set up your account and you can start investing right now. Now, the hard thing is to know what to invest in. And that's actually can be the most simplest thing. But it's the thing that gives you the most anxiety is, what do I invest in? I don't want to invest in the wrong thing. I don't want to lose money. And so one easy thing that people can invest in right now is called Stretch. Stretch is a preferred stock. It will give you 11.5% on your money on an annual rate. So it means what? If you put in $1,000 right now, you would make 11.5% on that $1,000 over 1 year, which would be what? It would be a little over $110, which is great. That's just on $1,000. It's just an easy way to make money on your money. You don't have to keep it in there the whole year. You could actually take it out and just make interest over a monthly time period. But basically what happens is you make a dividend every single month on your money. So just like a stock, just like a typical dividend stock, you make a dividend from that stock. But this is a preferred stock. You make a monthly dividend, and it pays out every single month. So whatever the percentage is on that monthly rate, you just got that back on that money, and it's a guaranteed return. And so that's just an easy, simple way to do it. You can invest in Stretch. You can do that on Robinhood. You can do that on any brokerage platform. Just look into it. That's just an easy way to do it. Or you can put it into a savings account. You can really do many different strategies in order to guarantee your return. But I haven't seen anything better than simply just putting it in stretch and making 11.5%. It's a newer thing. It's never been done before. It was started back last year. I think it was early last year. And basically all it is, the company strategy, they invest in Bitcoin. And so a way for them to gain more Bitcoin was to create this preferred stock. And so when people invest into this preferred stock, they take that money and then reinvest it into more Bitcoin. So that way they can gain their profile. And so for us, it's just a guaranteed return. You don't have to deal with any volatility. You can just simply put your money into stretch and then you gain your 11.5% return. So just a simple way to do it, guys. But again, time is more important than the amount. And so start investing now. You can just dollar cost average, which basically means you put in $1 each day or a certain amount of money each week, or you can do whatever you want to. I know for me, I just set up recurring investments. That's all I do. Every single day, money's coming out of my account. It's $1 here, $1 there. It's just low amounts, but it's investments into things that I think will grow at the highest rate over time. So it's basically what you guys have to do at home is figure out what do you think is going to give you the highest return, but also what companies, what businesses do you trust, you know? And so you have to figure that out for yourself. But that's just my strategy. Just go ahead and start out with low amounts. That way you can get yourself into the game. That way you can learn more about different companies, different stocks, and how to get your biggest return. All right, so next point is be conservative with your money. This applies to all athletes. This channel is more focused on bowling, but this applies to all athletes. So if anybody's watching this video, this is for everybody. So the gap between what you earn and what you spend is what creates your investment capital. Let's say that again. The gap between what you earn and what you spend is what creates your investment capital. So in other words, you need to allocate a certain amount of funds of whatever you earn to put toward your investment strategy in order to make money on your money. So it means that gap right there that I was talking about between what you earn and what you spend, that money right there is the money that's going to make you wealthy. So whatever before was going to your bad habit, whatever before was going to something that you really didn't need, that money right there is now going to your investments and it's now making money. Your future self will thank you because in 20 years, that money will be so much larger than what it was ever going to be, because before it was going to something that wasn't making you money. But now it's going to something that is making money. And that compound interest in 20 years will take that money and turn it into a whole bunch of money. And that's exactly what everybody wants to do with their money. They want their money to make money, and this is exactly how you do it, is using that gap of whatever is using that gap between whatever you earn and what you spend. So that money that is normally going elsewhere is now going to your investments. And that's how you make money. All right, focus on long-term ownership, guys. You have to own assets that produce income. Invest long-term and avoid emotions when dealing with financial decisions. It's very easy to get emotional. Do not get emotional. This is a simple process. There is no emotions involved. You have to set your emotions aside and just figure out what works and what doesn't work. Okay? And invest long-term. There's a lot of get rich quick schemes out there. Do not fall into the trap. You know, there's always somebody having an ad. Do this, do that. Don't do this, don't do that. Do what I say. Invest in my course. There's always somebody out there telling you to do certain things. Now, I'm not saying that they're lying to you. What they're doing maybe work for them, but that's not guaranteed to work for you. And so focus on long-term investments. Focus on assets that produce income. You know, the difference between a liability and an asset is a liability takes money out of your pocket. You know, Robert Kiyosaki talks about it all the time. Every single video that he has ever posted, he says the same thing over and over and over again. Liabilities take money out of your pocket. Assets put money into your pocket. That's just the difference. And so anything that you own, if it's not generating cash flow for you, if it's not generating income, then that is a liability. And so it doesn't really matter what it is, whether it's your car, your house, whatever you own. If it's taking money out of your pocket, that's now a liability. Whereas an asset, if you own an asset, if you do own real estate, if you do own a car that maybe you're renting out, that is now an asset because it's now putting money into your pocket. And so that's what you have to focus on. Focus on generating income by acquiring assets that generate cash flow for you, which again, that is now your income. Focus on getting those long-term assets that way that you can generate cash flow. All right, so in closing for this video, athletic ability can create income. Investing can create wealth. The goal isn't just to perform well today, it is to build a future that you can be proud of, a future where your money works for you long after your competitive days are done. Because I see so many athletes, they put so much time and effort into their career, but after their career is done, the money stops coming. Why? Because they're no longer competing. So now what do we do? I don't know. We're broke. We have to be an analyst on TV. That's now our job. All because we didn't invest well. We didn't put our money to work while we were still competitive and making money. It's just as simple as that, guys. So be smart with your money. Have a strategy in place. Know what you want to do. So that way you don't put yourself in a bind for whenever you get to be 40, 50, and 60 and you can't compete anymore at a high level and you're not making the money that you used to. And so put your money to work, understand your investment strategies, and know exactly what you want to do in order to better set yourself up for financial success. So that's this video, guys. Hopefully you all learned something today. And if you all want more videos like this, go ahead and leave a comment down below. And if you all like this one, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. And then I will see you in the next one coming up. So thanks for watching. And remember, stay fluid.